View from the Bay starts now.
Now it's time for some girl power. Our Nancy Longo is live at the Ferry building in San Francisco with simple ways to boost your daughter's self-esteem, or any woman's self-esteem for that matter. Right, Nancy?
That's right, Spencer. Any woman's self-esteem is right, because we're here at the Embarcadero where people are just crowding around trying to figure out what we're doing. And I have to say, I don't think I have one friend that isn't concerned about their weight or what they're wearing. So with me now is Jennifer Berger. She's with About Face, the organization. And Jennifer, what is going on?
Well, what's going on is that we're weighing people in a different way today. So essentially what we're doing is we have these scales that we've doctored so that they say compliments instead of actual numbers. So people get on them and they feel really great about themselves instead of kind of bad, which is what usually happens when we get on the scale.
Well, let me get this straight. So in the middle of public, people will actually come up and step on a scale.
Exactly. Yes, and sometimes they won't, but that's all part of the social experiment, isn't it?
So how did you start doing this? What made you decide to start doing something like this?
Well, when I was in college, I had so many friends who just had major body image issues, and some of them developed eating disorders. This was also in high school, and I just knew that I had to do something about it because they were really diminishing their potential about what they could do in their lives.
Well, I have a teenager and a couple of younger girls, and it is a big issue with me, you know, concern.
Yeah.
And what does your organization do how are you trying to deal with this?
Well, what we do is that we do media literacy workshops in schools and other organizations. So we really teach kids how to really critically think about the media that they see every day. We teach young women how to take action in their own ways, and we also have a website, aboutface.org, that has amazing resources and even a gallery of offenders.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at some of these families over here. We've got one mom and her teenage daughter. Tell me something. First of all, where are you from?
We're from Lafayette.
And what do you think about this whole thing?
Well, I do agree that it's very concerning, the images that the kids see on TV and in the magazines. It's very concerning. We try and emphasize exercise and eating healthy and, you know, just feeling good about yourself.
Do you believe you just stood on a scale in the middle of the street?
No, I don't.
What'd you get?
I was perfect.
You are perfect. Both of you are.
Excellent.
So what sort of feedback do you get when you do this?
Well, we get sort of 3 different types of feedback. We get that kind of feedback where it's like, oh yes, of course I'll jump on the scale. And then we get other types of feedback. It's like, oh no, you can't get me on that scale. And then we get some people who just kind of like shimmy up and they kind of say, what's gonna happen? Are you gonna tell me I'm fat? Which of course they don't. These are wonderful scales, not mean scales.
So we're talking about image, and I think we talked about before about the magazines and the things that are out there. For me, they're in the doctor's office. They're everywhere I go, my children see them. What is a tip you might say to a parent who deals with these images on magazines?
Well, I mean, these are the magazines that we see all the time, like in the grocery store aisle and everything. And one thing is that, you know, these magazines are unavoidable, and other media really. And one great thing for moms especially and their daughters to do is to sit down and look at it together and start talking about, you know, what is that body image like? What does that person look like? Is that the only way to be beautiful? You know, some very open-ended questions where you can facilitate some kind of conversation where it doesn't end up being about like what the daughter looks like or what the mom looks like. You know, it's not a like, you know, I'm fat, you're so thin conversation or anything like that. It's very like open-ended and supportive.
Positive. Okay, yes. Before we go, I promised you begged me, yeah. I'm actually going to step on the scale. In public.
Let's do it.
I'm a little nervous here.
Let's do it. You are.
Wait a minute. We got to get Spencer. Is Spencer back there yet? Spencer, you want to guess what you think I am?
I would say awesome, lovely, and just perfect.
Spencer, I think you covered everything.
Beautiful. She's beautiful.
You forgot the beautiful part, Spencer.
That was obvious. I didn't have to say that. Why should I state the obvious? Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Spencer.
Good job, Nancy. Good job.